Hey everyone, in this video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the cognitive changes associated with aging. So, as you can see here, there are three main categories in which changes occur, cognitive changes occur in aging, right? So, the first thing we're going to talk about is memory. So, in memory, I hope you guys remember from chapter 4, there are two types of memory, declarative and non-declarative. I just want you guys to take a minute and briefly re-remember if you guys don't remember, but let's just go over what declarative memory is. Declarative memories are defined facts, right? Defined facts. So these can include biographical memory, or they can include facts. So, for example, knowledge such as arithmetic. Sorry, I stuck at spelling and geography and more. So you guys get the concept, right? Non-declarative memory, however, is memory that is muscle memory almost. When you think of the term muscle memory, that's usually not declarative memory. So when you think of people tying their shoes, um, tying shoes, or when you think of them typing or touch typing, I mean. The one where you basically you know how the finger placements move and you don't look at the keyboard to type. And riding a bike. That's one of the most common examples, actually. These are all examples of non-declarative memory. And now I want you guys, knowing the definition of both declarative and non-declarative memory, to identify which one will decline with aging. If you said that declarative memory will start to decline with age, then you are correct. Declarative memory refers to a type of intelligence known as crystallized intelligence, which is the opposite of fluid intelligence, right? Your crystal memory, uh, I'll just write it so it's not confusing. Crystal, which is declared in facts, right? They're defined facts. But as you grow older, I know if you guys have grandparents or people or you've interacted with people who are elderly, you know that they tend to forget events earlier on in life, and that's why their declarative memory will tend to decline. But their non-declarative memory will usually stay mostly intact, right? Stays intact. I just want you guys to think about this real quick. If you were given a problem where it says that a person is struggling to tie their shoelaces, a 60-year-old person is struggling to tie their shoelaces, are you going to attribute that to a physical change, like they're physically not able to tie their shoelaces, bend down and tie them, or whether it's because they don't remember how to tie a shoelace? I think if you're given a question like that, you should always assume that it's a physical change, whereas wherein that they're not able to bend down to tie their shoes, or they're not able to, they have tremors, which is inhibiting them from properly tying their shoes. Because tying your shoes or riding a bike or anything is non-declarative memory. It's literally muscle memory, and that stays mostly intact throughout aging. Okay? And the next thing that can slightly decline throughout aging is your idea of um, working memory. So, a lot of chapter 4 review here. I hope you guys remember working memory. Well, working memory is defined as ability to remember information using while you're using it. Okay? While using. Okay, awesome. So, working memory is defined as the ability to remember information while using it. So, an example of this, one of my favorite examples, is when you remember a really, really long number while doing a math calculation. So, say you have the number 78540 times 332. You're in your working memory, you're going to have to copy down this number without looking at it, right? So, like, you remember large quantities of numbers while you're using it, and usually working memory will follow the 7 plus minus 2 rule, where basically you can um, five, remember 5 to 9 things at a time. 5 to 9 things at a time. Okay. So that's your fluid intelligence. But the thing is, as you tend to age, your working memory ability or your ability to remember things um, for a longer period of time tends to decline with age. Okay. So, other aspects of your fluid intelligence, such as critical thinking, your ability of problem solving, as well as critical thinking also tends to decline with age. So, working memory, problem solving, and basically a lot of aspects of your quote unquote fluid intelligence will decrease with age. The final thing we're going to talk about today is known as attention. So, I hope you guys remember what attention is. This actually comes up in the next chapter, defining attention as a brain state, but the general definition of attention is just your ability to focus on things, right? So, I define it as ability to focus, right? And why is this important? Well, there are different types of attention, right? And the types of attention that I'm going to talk about today are first selective attention, as well as split attention. So these are very self-defined, like you can tell what they mean just by looking at their names. Selective attention means ability to choose what to focus on. So I hope something that you can an example would be like if you I know the Brain Facts book gives this example too. Sorry about that. It's like when you're in a noisy restaurant and you're trying to focus on your friend. Sorry about the spelling, guys. Focus on friends. So the thing is, as you grow older, it becomes really hard to pick up these kind of um really narrow in on a certain stimulus, right? And that's because the neurotransmitters as well as neurons associated with this focus is actually some form of acetylcholine, and serotonin. These will all are all hypothesized. There's no concrete evidence yet, but they're all hypothesized to decline with age, which is kind of what causes this inability to focus, right? Then you have what's known as split attention. Your split attention is your ability to focus on two tasks at once, right? So, why is this important? Your ability to focus on two tasks? Well, you may think of multitasking. And the most infamous example of this is trying to drive while holding a discussion. Drive. The reason for this again is in order for you to kind of do these two tasks at once, your brain really doesn't have such a thing as like being able to focus on two separate tasks. What it kind of does is it rapidly alternates. Sorry, let me change the color real quick so that it's really easy to understand. It just alternates between the processing streams like that. And the thing is, for this to happen, your neurons or these neural pathways have to be very highly interconnected with each other. And the thing is, as you age, and we'll get more into this in the next video, these so-called neural synapses or synapses tend to kind of die, right? The volume of synapse neurons, they will shrink. Neurons will shrink, right? Shrink. And the dendrites will lose their connections. And because of this, your brain is no longer able to rapidly switch between those two paths because they're no longer as connected anymore. They're just there's not that many connections and there's no way for them to communicate rapidly. So that's why that decreases. So these are the cognitive changes that occur with aging, right? And it's really important that you remember each of these facts because they pop up very regularly in Brain Bee questions. I will be releasing an activity as well as a kind of review video on all the chapters coming up soon. I'm working on releasing that right now, but thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, as always, please just comment down below or email me at stemwme@gmail.com. Thank you so much. Bye bye.